Hello, I am Xarkun. This is World of Warships Legends. Henry J. Hyde on the screen here. This is my updated build for the Großer Kurfürst. You can see I've got Flammable Cannoneer and Gyrating Drill Bits selected now with Kedrov as an inspiration. I did change Hipper off of the inspirations and replaced him with Azur Lane Hipper to cut down on fire damage received by this ship after this game, but this game was played with this build. And also, I am not using the 420mm guns in this game. Instead, I have elected to go with the 406mm guns, and I have taken the secondaries mod out of the 4th mod slot and replaced that with the main gun mod that cuts down on the reload time but increases the turret traverse time. And that penalty is of course offset by gyrating drill bits and by Kedrov, both of which decrease the turret traverse time. So what does that add up to? Well, it adds up to 12 406mm guns, 16-inch guns, with a 26-second reload and a 24-second turret traverse time. That is down from the reload and turret traverse that I have enjoyed, or rather suffered with, in all of my other Großer Kurfürst videos on this channel. The reload on those 420mm guns on those builds I was using, 32 seconds. Turret traverse time, 40 seconds. So, we've cut that down drastically, which means we have increased our potential damage per minute output by quite a bit more. And I'm starting to think that this may be a more optimal build for the Großer Kurfürst. That is one focused on the rate of fire of the main guns, because frankly, the 406 versus 420mm guns, the only difference is, with the 420s, you get more punching power in terms of your alpha strike. The shells do more damage because they're slightly bigger. They don't actually get any benefits for things like overmatch. The Yamato's 18-inch guns can overmatch 32mm bow armor, and 32mm is a very common armor threshold in these high tiers in this game. The 420mm guns, by contrast, are still slightly bigger 16-inch guns, and they don't have the power to overmatch 32mm. I think they have the power to overmatch like 29mm, but that's a weird armor value. And if a ship doesn't have 32mm of armor, they probably have 27mm of armor. And in that case, the 406 guns can overmatch 27mm just the same way as the 420s. Plus, you reduce the reload time shooting at 26 seconds instead of 32. You probably have some of, if not the fastest, reloading 16-inch guns in the game. The Alabama, at least on my build, also reloads its 16-inch guns in about 26 seconds. But the Iowa, Amagi, actually the Amagi might have a short reload time. Nagato, Sinop, Vladivostok, they all have longer reloads. And this turret traverse is incredibly useful when you are trying to get your guns on target, and especially when you're moving in close for brawling situations. Now, I've come to get a lot more familiar with the Kurfürst here as time has gone on, and this is quite an interesting game to watch, because notice my team. I have secured this cap with the help of a friendly Colorado who was initially telling me to get back. Now, what has the enemy team done? They've all gone to the north of the Charlie capture point, and they've clustered up in one area. We've got teammates to the south of them, And then we have me and this Colorado over here to the west. We're moving into a position where we can get a crossfire on these guys. And there we get a rather nasty hit on the Cleveland. Not a devastating strike or anything. We took out one of his turrets and shaved off 7,000 of his hit points, so he is hurting. And since our guns reload so much quicker now, we've got another shot out ready to go. We see that he is turning, so we try to predict his turn, lead the shot appropriately. It looks like it's on target, maybe going to fall slightly short, but not too short, and it does end up taking him down for our first kill of the game. Now the rest of the battleships are unspotted. It looks like the friendly ship to the south of Charlie could not withstand the sustained firepower of the entirety of the enemy team, which in this case is only 5 ships. This is some weird matchmaking. But you can see on the far eastern side of those 2 islands out there to the east of Charlie, we do have a friendly battleship moving up. We have another one in Bravo who is about to flip that, and then of course myself in the Colorado coming from the west, all into an area where we have 4 enemy battleships clustered together in essentially the same position on the map. So we are going to be able to develop a crossfire situation here, and it's going to take a little bit of time, but our positioning is pretty much going to be what contributes to the outcome of this game most heavily. Now, here I am, pointing my bow at the Bismarck and the enemy Großer Kurfürst. Got a Richelieu out there to the right who isn't yet paying attention to me, but he will be. Bismarck is sailing at an angle, so we're pointing our bow in order to mitigate the damage that we take. The bow of the Großer Kurfürst is armored extremely, extremely heavily. I've looked at the PC armor scheme now, and there is a strip of armor right down the center of the bow, right on the front of it, that I think is 27 millimeters or 32. It can be overmatched by the Yamato, but the plates on either side of that cannot even be overmatched by the Yamato. So, extremely heavily armored bow. Nothing except the Yamato with good RNG is going to get through it. You point your bow at anything in this ship, you're going to be okay. Now, they start firing into your turrets, they can probably disable those, or if they start firing into your superstructure, big superstructure, a lot of hit points allocated there. They can get some nasty chunk damage off you that way. But through the bow, absolutely nothing to worry about. The Richelieu is starting to shoot at us. We've opened up our angle quite a bit to try and get our turrets on him. We did take out one of his guns temporarily with that opening salvo, but that second one, not quite so fruitful. We've got the Colorado next to us, kind of moving out. This enemy Bismarck is kind of a problem. He is moving into a position where he's going to have crossfire shots on that friendly battleship in Bravo. So he is actually doing something quite useful for his team. But this Bismarck and enemy Großer Kurfürst out there, their positions to shoot at that battleship in Bravo, not ideal. He can angle against the both of them. It doesn't look like the Richelieu has shots on him, so it's irrelevant. He's caught in a crossfire. But now you can see that we have a friendly battleship behind the cluster of enemies up there to the north. He's sailing over there nearest the enemy Großer Kurfürst. He's the one that sailed around the islands, which is normally not a very good play in most matches that you'll get on this map. But in this one, the value of it is debatably okay, given his position. He is tying up that enemy Großer Kurfürst. You can see how many hit points that guy has lost now. Those were not taken by me, so they were taken by one of these guys shooting at him. Bismarck moving in now, giving full broadside, angling against the friendly either Colorado or I think it's the Colorado angling against him and therefore giving me broadside caught in a crossfire. He is not going to be around for a whole lot longer. And now that the situation has changed and the friendly Odin up there has taken out the enemy Großer Kurfürst, I am able to start pushing in now that I don't have to worry about being fired at by 3 different ships. Because as well armored and powerful as the Großer Kurfürst is, it is also a massive target, and if you are under sustained fire by a number of ships, enemy battleships too, even though your armor is pretty good, there are places they can hit you. Big, easy to hit places, like the superstructure, where they are going to do a lot of penetration damage, and it's not going to feel good. Now, that Colorado in there, he is going toe-to-toe with the enemy Bismarck. He could use some support. I've got my bow aimed right at the enemy Richelieu. There's not much he can do to me. So I've turned my guns this way to try to help the Colorado deal with Bismarck. You can see the Bismarck is close enough to activate the legendary skill that I have active on Hyde now, running with Scissors, which increases the damage dealt by the battleship's AP and HE shells by 15% when within, I think, 4.5 kilometers of an enemy. So, probably a little bit helpful. Also increases turret traverse time, by the way, and increases dispersion, so it makes the guns a little bit less accurate, but I'm starting to think that it might actually be a decent skill to use for these brawling type battleships which do well at close ranges. That Bismarck is almost dead. His secondaries are going off. Ours are answering him. Looks like the Colorado is probably going to take him out, so I don't waste too much time trying to do anything about it. Now I'm just going to move in on this Richelieu, aim at his guns, try to knock them out. There goes one. That way I can reduce his firepower, hopefully get along his broadside, and send some 16-inch shells right through it into his citadel, take him down, finish the game. So, an interesting game with interesting matchmaking, I think, in the Großer Kurfürst. And while we're sort of waiting to get a good drop on this Richelieu, there we take out another one of his guns. I want to thank you all for your responses on my face reveal video. Now, as I'm, saying this commentary, you have an idea, or you actually know what I look like. So, you know what my face looks like. You know the person behind the microphone now. And I also wanted to say thank you for all the interactions you guys give me every day, and apologize a little bit because typically I've been pretty great at responding to all comments left on my videos, but now there are just so many today that I don't have the time between a full-time job and trying to make these videos to respond to every single one of them, although I do read them. Just wanted to let you guys know that, because I appreciate your support, and I don't want you to feel like I'm ignoring you or anything. Now, Richelieu aiming at us as we, go side to side with him. We do shoot all of our guns. It's not quite enough to take him out. He is not quite able to shoot at us. Maybe he did. Either way, we have turtleback armor. The best he could hope for is some full armor penetrations with the AP, which would hurt us a lot, but it's not going to hurt as much as a Citadel would, and we have a lot more hit points than the Richelieu. Now, though, Richelieu giving us a perfect angle to hit his Citadel and permanently destroy one of his turrets there. He does not have too much longer to live, and it doesn't really matter that the last remaining friendly battleship isn't in a good position to support us. Richelieu gets a nice hit on us, but our fire, lit by the secondaries, takes him out and ends the game. So, hopefully an enjoyable game for you in the Großer Kurfürst. If you did enjoy it, be sure to give the video a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you haven't already done that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think about the Großer Kurfürst in the comments. I know a lot more of you have it. And I will see you next time. Goodbye.